In the news tonight, multiple shootings in St. Michael this evening, one sending those gathered in Golden Square for a function scampering. Dean Emeritus Harold Crichlow has passed. And in sports, West Indies women set up a must-win T20 tomorrow as they level the series with South Africa women.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Hello, good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for tuning in. We start with this story. The peace of Bridgetown was shattered this evening when patrons of the historic Bridgetown Antiques Market were sent scampering. Gunshots rang out in Nelson Street, next door to Golden Square Freedom Park, where the event was being held. Police Communications and Public Affairs Officer Inspector Ryan Brathwaite confirmed the incident. One resident says he heard shots and a window shattering in the bedroom where his wife was present, and he calls for the gunplay to come to an end.
This foolishness needs to stop. I don't know what is going on in this world. It ain't only in Barbados, it's over the whole world, right? That's all it is about it. The first time that it happened down this side. If anything, it's happened up on top, but the first thing I ever hear come this close.
One of the patrons of the antique show recalls that some of those at Golden Square started asking if the piercing sounds were gunshots, and they began running for cover in an effort to shield themselves from any stray bullets.
I think it's beginning a little bit concerning with the regularity that it's, because it's almost daily that there's shootings. I'm not scared. I'm concerned, like what's happening and what's taking place, and what can be done about it.
An exhibitor at the event says while he heard the gunshots, he was not panicked. He said he initially thought the noise was fireworks.
It was only when the second burst started to happen, where you were starting to hear some single shots, that it was really clear that there was gunshots happening in the area. So at that point, everybody that wasn't down got down, just to make sure that they were safe.
Inspector Brathwaite also confirmed another shooting across town, this time in Whitehall Main Road at its junction with St. Stephen's Hill. He says 4 men riding on motorcycles rode through the area, discharging a number of gunshots, resulting in 1 man being fatally wounded and another injured. President of the Cave Hill Community Club, Troy Williams, says one of the victims is one of his favorite people in the community, and he's calling for some form of intervention to stem the rising gun crimes.
This gun violence, violence in general, is a major problem in Barbados. The government is doing a good job, but we need more intervention. We need more programs. We need this to be taken more seriously, not just from a government, a national, country, and community. Communities need to come back together. Communities need to be caring. Communities need to be loving. We really need that intervention. We need the support.
Medical Director of the Barbados Cancer Society, Dr. Stephanie Date, says that while the number of prostate cancer patients has risen, it's not something to be too alarmed about. She was speaking at this year's edition of the CMEX Prostate Cancer Walk. She says with events such as these, it allows for more men to get tested, and she believes with more men being tested, the numbers will go up. However, she believes this isn't a bad thing because it shows the awareness is working.
So prostate cancer is the most common cancer in Barbados, and of course the number 1 affecting men. That's startling because only 50% of us in Barbados are males. So we're seeing almost 300, if not more, a year. Those numbers are climbing, but the thing with cancer is that as we get these events bigger and bigger, we get more people coming in and more people being screened. So you might also then see the numbers increasing. So it doesn't mean that more men are getting cancer, it just means that we are getting the message out there. We're doing our jobs and we're getting more people screened early.
The walk is in its third year, and organizers say the goal is to have attendance similar to that of the breast cancer walk that is held in October. Organizer Michelle Strawn says every year more people become interested in the walk, and while the breast cancer walk has been going for 23 years, the prostate cancer walk is still in its infancy but growing every year.
This is only the third year with breast cancer. This is now 23 years that we've been doing that. So we're at baby steps, but we're growing and we're getting there. So we expect that for the word to get out all about prostate cancer, it's a men's issue. So we have to support the men. We know men don't like to go to the doctor. You need to come out, get your PSA test done, and it will grow.
Construction work on the Brucevale Bridge in St. Andrew is now at the demolition phase and should be completed in the next 9 to 10 months. And Ministry of Transport and Works representative on the Scotland District Road Rehabilitation Project, George Holder, says there have been some delays on the work, the major one being the redesign of the foundation of the abutments to the bridge.
There's a previous design, and when it was tested, or when we excavated to see what the materials were really like, we found that the geotechnical investigations that were carried on, the actual ground beneath the foundations was not as anticipated, which called for a new and a redesign of the foundations. We've carried out that work. We're happy with what we have now, and we're about to start that work.
Mr. Holder says work was also done on the gabions. He explained in order to do that work, they had to temporarily divert the existing river, but some of the temporary work became undone with the heavy showers.
We expect now that as we move into the rainy season, that such occurrences will happen quite often. And there's little point of us doing a diversion at this moment. We have implemented other measures to protect the work, the piling work that is being done. We do not really need to have the channel of the river to protect the foundations or the pile foundations. I know that this is an issue for the residents, but we're asking them to bear with us as we carry on with the construction of the actual bridge.
Anglican Dean Emeritus Harold Crichlow passed away this morning following a brief illness. He was 90 years old. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley remembers Dean Emeritus Crichlow as a father figure, a national personality, and a man who knew no fear when it came to his dealings with other mortals. In a statement, Ms. Motley noted that he was the first black dean of the Cathedral of St. Michael and All Angels and provoked heated discussions and debates for nearly 3 decades when he served from 1972 to 2000. She recalls he held a special place in his sermons for politicians and kept then Prime Ministers Errol Barrow and JMGM Tom Adams and their cabinets on their toes in the 1970s and 80s. For years, his Sunday sermons dominated the front pages of the Monday newspapers and is hailed for taking his bill to the cane fields during the big debate of the future of sugar in this country. Dean Emeritus Crichlow served as an independent senator, deputy president of the Senate, headmaster of Christ Church High School, a teacher at his alma mater Combermere School, and chaplain of the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. He was also awarded the Gold Crown of Merit in 1999 in recognition of his service to religion. May he rest in peace. Fishing in Barbados is not dying. That's the word from the president of the Pyle Bay Fisherfolk Organization, Katrina Chapman. Speaking at a fun day, she said there are some youngsters in the community who are training to build boats and become fishermen. Regarding local fishermen, either using fishing boat templates or the boats themselves from Canada, Ms. Chapman said she believes that can work, but it will depend on the fisherman's preference.
Have some youngsters, some upcoming youngsters that from Pearl Bay community that is interested in boat building and interested in the fishing industry in the whole. So I don't say as a dying industry. The models, it's up to the individual fishermen to choose the type of vessels they want to carry out. So if a model from Canada suit them, yes, it'll be okay.
The Stray Cats Calypso Tent is set to continue its rich history as they open for this year's crop over season on June 30th. The tent, which has been around for 32 years, has produced artists like Malik. This year, the Calypso Tent is planning to pay homage to some of the stalwarts and even help out one of the greatest comedians from Barbados, Trevor Eastman. On July 16th, owner and tent leader Jerry Roberts says it will be Trevor Eastman night, and they hope all proceeds can go to helping him with his struggles.
Trevor have challenges, right? And Trevor is in the mental institute for the last 5 years. Everybody saying about, where Trevor going? So me, Gabby, and kids, so we look for him. And we decided that we can let the people know that Trevor Eastman needs some help. So at the gymnasium, the 16th, July the 16th, at the gymnasium, Stray Cats will be judging. So we asked a few of the stalwarts, the big names in Barbados, to come and support our show on the 16th of July to honor Trevor Eastman and Malik.
Now, Barbadian Tyrese Knight fought his way to tonight's final of the men's singles of the 2025 Caribbean Regional Table Tennis Championships at the Wilde Gymnasium. The day started with the round of 16 when Knight went down to the wire to defeat Rafael Cabrera of the Dominican Republic in 4 sets to 2 at 9-11, 8-11, 11-6, 11-5, 11-6, 13-11. Knight then took on Puerto Rican Steven Moreno in the quarterfinals and was forced to fight harder, but eventually the homeboy won 4 sets to 3 at 10-12, 12-10, 9-11, 12-10, 3-11, 11-9, 11-8. It was then to the semi-final for Knight against Brian Afanado of Puerto Rico, who had earlier eliminated Barbadian Kevin Farley in the round of 16 at 11-2, 11-5, 11-8, 11-2. Knight got revenge for his teammate and defeated Afandor at 4-0 at 12-10, 12-10, 11-9, 11-8. That booked him a final clash with Puerto Rican Angel Nareo, and that final is currently underway. Now, following a successful staging of the 2025 Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championships back in March, the annual awards ceremony was held last evening. Let's take a look at the awardees. It was an evening to toast the stars of the 2025 BSAC Championships as the annual awards ceremony was held at the Queen's College School. Individual and overall school awards were presented across a number of categories in both the track and field, with Allen's School boasting of having the Victrix Ludorum in Rajada Hines and the Victor Ludorum Khalil Bryan. In the school awards, the champion schools in the field were the St. Michael's School in the girls and Combermere School in the boys. Combermere was also in winner's row on the track, sharing the top honors with the girls from the St. Michael's School, while the boys from Harrison College were tops on the track. In his address, principal of the Combermere School and president of the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools, Robin Douglas, said sport must be seen way beyond the field of play.
We strongly believe that the values and lessons learned through competition in athletics are those that are carried by our students and used in a multitude of spheres in their lives. It is hoped that those ideas of teamwork and discipline, of camaraderie, would not only be part of what they do to gain further success in athletic exploit, but that they would use these lessons to help them navigate the challenges of life.
Meanwhile, title sponsor the Sani Power Aid, represented by Group Marketing Manager Clifford Goodin Edgel, is looking to implement a major sporting initiative for the schools in the coming year, entitled Sporting School of Excellence.
We at Power Aid Sani, we sponsor a major set of different sporting disciplines. We do track and field, we do football, we do swimming, we do cricket, we also do a couple others. And what we want to do is to be able to identify and create a program where points are gained over the year, and therefore at the end of the year, we'll be able to identify and acknowledge and recognize 2 schools, one for girls and one for boys, for all of their sporting success for that year.
Special awards were also presented to physical education teacher Jennifer Smith, former principal of Harrison College and former chair of the BISA organizing committee Juanita Wade, and Anthony Miller, long-standing BISAC sponsor, for their contribution to the event over the years. And of course, the biggest awards on the night, the Champion Schools 2025. Girls Champions, the St. Michael's School. And Boys Champions, Combamere. BISA honored the athletes that made 2025 a success.
And that's our news. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night.